What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I'm going to talk to you about Ethereum Classic. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, break it down on what's really been happening and where it might be going from here. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So ETC is down 1.78%, 3.72 million in volume over the last 24 hours. So the volume is definitely one point that I've brought up that is a somewhat of a concern. And it's not just with ETC though, it is completely across the board. A lot of just generally lower volume. So does insinuate that big money is kind of taking a step back out of crypto, and this kind of says that as well. So basically last week over week, there was $66.08 billion that left both crypto and equity to move to money markets. And I think that's already over and above the 57 the previous week, so 57 billion. So big money is really just withdrawing. And at the same time though, if you kind of look at the crypto fear and greed index, which is at 48, that's very telling. And I think at the same time, it's somewhat historic, kind of just following the pattern. So it's always kind of a pullback, and then going into and leading into March, this is where you see a little bit more optimism. So I think essentially that's what's happening with crypto right now. There's just a small handful of kind of ones out there that are doing fairly good. Ripple, I think, is more notably the one that's standing out. A lot of good catalysts coming out for that one in the foreseeable future. But as of right now, though, you're just not having any whales looking at ETC. If anything, you're seeing more and more longs closing out their position. So, of course, I think ETC is getting hit twice as hard, only because you're having longs closing out the position as well as it's still being heavily shorted. So ETC has always been one of those kind of damned scenarios where shorts are all over it and have been all over it. Whenever there's market momentum, you do see a good squeeze here and there with ETC, but regrettably a lot of the data right now isn't all that great. And based on the market cap, ETC is ranked number 34, so it has dropped a hell of a lot of points since my last video. I think it was at like 29. So yeah, ranked number 34, and most likely, given everything, it might actually drop back or kind of one more to 35 or possibly to 36 if it does continue to lag. As of right now, based on the technicals, with it at 25 and change, it is trading right between this S1 and this S2. So 2560 is going to be, at least in the short term, a key resistance for it to really fight back and stay above. If not, then it is going to continue to most likely trend down. 2461 is going to be the next strong support, followed by 23. And I think, like I said, with the lack of capital really getting into ETC and just across the board, you're going to have these pullbacks, and ETC that's also heavily shorted, you're going to have those a little bit more extreme. But as far as on the technicals though, it is currently, I have the 5100 day moving averages, ALMA, and super trend. So it is below the super trend. So of course you have algorithmic trading as well working against ETC. And looking at the 1 day chart on a side note, it is below the 50-day moving average and currently flirting with that 100. That 100 has been that saving grace so far for ETC. If not, then it would be most likely back at that $22 to $20 range. But like I said, right now it is kind of flirting with that. It is wedge bound between that ALMA and that also 100-day moving average. So most likely in the next day, you're going to see either a extreme push higher that is due to just potentially the technicals, or a little bit lower. It will all come down onto the buyers and what big money and the technicals kind of feel. So it is going to get pinched very soon. Just the $1 million question is whether it kind of moves higher or lower. But looking at the 4 hour, you always have to look at the 4 hour, 1 hour, everything feeds into each other. 4 hour, this is where you're seeing that weakness. So of course that is right here, the longs closing out some of their positions. As of right now, it's kind of showing that it wants to recover a little bit. So it is above the ALMA, still below a lot of the key pivotal moving averages. So the 4 hour is relatively negative, and then moving over to the 1 hour, this is where you're seeing some optimism, but I think it's based on the volume. not really much to importance to take away from this. So in my opinion, I think at least in the short term, ETC is going to continue to consolidate, and in general it's kind of going to be following what happened between 2023 and 2024, how there was a consolidation up until the end of January, and then this is where you kind of see more momentum leading into beginning of March. So let me know your thoughts on ETC. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What is your overall viewpoint on ETC in the comments below? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, I did launch a Discord completely free. A lot of good individuals on there and a lot of good information. So pop over there, link in the description below and also the comments. Like I said, completely free. So definitely take advantage of that. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.